In this video, we're going to talk about how Spawn discovered a file that changed everything, which led him trapped in the alley of death. My brothers and my sisters from another mister, this is a comic book review of Spawn, issue number 22, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. So we begin this issue with Joe Sakin. He's an accountant to Vito Gravano. This accountant is a loyal servant to the mob. He works up the numbers to make sure that when the mob gets audited, that they'll have a clean legal operation, that they will remain untouched. But you know, he's working diligently away, 15 hours a day. Spawn comes in and he wants some information. Hello, Joe, let's talk. And this scares the crap out of Joe. Your boss, I want to know exactly where he is. You see, the fat man's been asking for me. I thought I answer his call, and this account's like, you know, he can't even muster any words. And Spawn gets pissed, like, if you don't clear up that Sterling boy, I'm gonna have to kill you. You understand? He's gone. I mean, he's not here. I mean, he wanted to check up on one of his other business matters. And Spawn's like, well, I believe you. That's convincing. Just tell me where Vito is and I'll let you go home. Otherwise, we got a problem, you know? Freeze! The door opens and Spawn has to turn his head and divert his attention. Make a move and you're dead, says the mobsters. Step away from Mr. Sakic. Now, nice and slow, and I mean very slow, like Marvin Gaye foreplay, kind of love making slow. Anyways, so they kind of wondering, like, how does Spawn get in here anyway? So without warning, his chain lunges forward like rattlesnakes. The security guards didn't know what to expect, but it wasn't that. So they start shoot. They blast away. Shoot first, ask questions later. They react the way they know best. So, but little did Spawn know, and he started to grow accustomed to this, you know, costume that actively, you know, defends his life. You know, it's like his life and the symbiote's life are joined as one. He knows what's being at stake here, so he's all good with this. So they keep shooting away, and they realize their bullets have a serious case of not doing nothing to Spawn. So what Spawn does to them is a lot more severe than those bullets. He throws a desk at them, splats on the wall, and yeah, that's that. So Spawn's like, well, now, where were we? This guy don't shiv under pressure, especially at tax time, but when it comes to dealing with Spawn, he doesn't know what the heck to do. So he grabs a file in an attempt, a very feeble attempt at that, to kind of hide the evidence. So Spawn's like, what have you got there, Joe? Nothing. Well, guess what? Joe does have something. So Spawn grabs a file. He's like, what is this? This file's on Terry? Alright, I'm gonna be borrowing this for a while, so thanks, Joe. And Spawn melts away into the darkness, okay? So the security personnel can find no trace of his visit. But as for Joe, 3 days from now, his body will be found under the George Washington Bridge, with his hands and feet viciously severed, decapitated. Even his genitals will be missing. So much for being a loyal employee for Vito Gravano, right? So in the office, Sam Burke and Twitch Williams receive a lead from Jimmy London on the streets. They're snitched about the whereabouts of Spawn's hangout. So as Sam gets some flack from his fellow officer Fred about internal affairs, about, you know, what are you guys really doing? Are you guys really gonna go out to chase some ghost? I mean, he's a ghost for a reason, and harass some homeless people because you think this case is so big? This leads Sam to spit in his coffee because, you know what? They gotta do what they gotta do. When they gotta stick up their ass about something, they gonna fulfill that duty, alright? So in this panel right here, recent events have cast doubts on Jason Wynn's credibility. Wynn is unable to explain his disappearance for 2 days. And, you know, that's because he was an agent of heaven and was made into a warrior, the Redeemer, in Spawn issues 16 through 18, which we did cover that in this channel. But somehow, someone has leaked the odd circumstances to the media about his disappearances. So enemies have been circling, looking for a weakness to exploit in Jason Wynn. The White House is very unhappy with this, and on top of that, a thorough investigation has proven that Fitzgerald is clean. That's what Wynn wanted to do. He wanted to frame Terry Fitzgerald or something. So Jason Wynn cannot afford even the appearance of professional inadequacy. Therefore, Fitzgerald inquiry will continue. His guilt is predetermined. Wynn will not fail. Reputation and power are all that's at stake for him. Terry Fitzgerald concentrates on his monitor, trying to forget the harassing phone calls and face-to-face threats that he's been dealing with lately. Practically every law enforcement or intelligence agency in the state has made their displeasure known to him. He's grateful that Wanda is unaware of this witch hunt, and that his family's unaware of it. His family's untouched. At least he knows that. But you know what? It could have been the debacle at the Columbia University, which we covered in Spawn issue 19 and 20, but that's for another time, another deal. Terry's secretary screams out in horror as she sees his box. It's open, and Terry's like, Julia, what is it? Turns out it's a dead rat with a note and a knife in it that says, Dear Fitz, you're a dead rat. You and your friends. Well, for the first time since the threats began, Terry's feeling scared. He thought he would have figured this all out by now, but you know what? He's nowhere near to it. So deep within the bowels of Manhattan's backstreet, Al Simmons, the Hellspawn, sits on a throne of waste and debris that was assembled by the homeless now under his protection, even though he looks at it as filth at first. But you know what? A throne's a throne, bruh. Spawn is reading this file and he's like, oh god, no. Vito thinks I'm Terry? That is some crazy stuff. So in the meanwhile, Vito Gravano's being debriefed about the Overkill program. And this is going back to issue number 7 where Overkill was dismantled by Spawn. So the scientist debriefs Vito that modifications were made to his armor while combat damage to his exoskeleton is always possible. This will keep it minimal. So the same assaults used in the past, well, it'll be useless now. But there's one slight problem. Vito's like, and what is that? It seems like we weren't able to completely wipe some of Overkill's memories. Vito Gravano's like, I don't care about that memory, man. I need him tonight. I need him to do the work. Phone my office as soon as he's ready. In the meantime, I need to check up on another one of my situations. And this is going back to the Violator issue number 2, which we did cover in this channel. That was a hell of a story too. But you know what? Vito Gravano's like, you know what? Now I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. First is Violator, but now it's Spawn. And guess what? He's gonna be getting his invite tonight. So in this panel right here, Terry Fitzgerald is feeling hopeless. I mean, he rushes home to see if his family's okay. And he just wanted to forget all about the troubles and be with his wife and baby. But, you know, he hasn't been able to get on the phone with him. He's wondering, all concerned that maybe they didn't make it home, maybe they're in trouble. He questions and questions start racing wildly in his brain. Paranoia is growing, and as a trained security operative, he expects better of himself. Now he looks out the window, he sees an unmarked car with 2 CIA officers. He spots them on the frantic drive home. And guess what? They parked right outside in his front door. It's obvious they want him to know that he's being toyed with. While Terry tries to come to grips with the situation, a dark sedan pulls up behind the CIA vehicle. This one belongs to the mobsters, Vito Gravano's leg breakers. The government boys take immediate notice and they know something's up. So they tell him to freeze and they get on the radio and call for backup. What the hell? It's the feds? Let him rip it. So they shoot away and blast off. So Terry does the next wise and rational thing. He bolts out from his office carrying his own high-powered rifle. He has to end this madness. But, you know, this is not the most rational thing because now they're blasting off at him. And because the feds are distracted, now the mobsters blast at the feds and that ends their life. So finally, the gun falls silent. There's no more gunfire. Listen up, Fitzgerald, says the mobsters. I know you can hear us. We've got your wife and girl. If you want to see either of them again, you'll be in the alleyway between 5th and 6th at 27th at midnight, and you better be alone. They drive away. Little does Terry know that they were calling his bluff because all they see is they have a tail on Wanda and C.I.A and her grandma, but they don't have them in custody. It's just a way to get Terry to, you know, act out of character. But as the sound of sirens draw closer and the neighbors start to peek through their curtains and see Terry standing over 2 dead bodies, Terry does the only thing he can think of, and that is to run. So hours later, this homeless guy tells Al, he's coming, just like he said over on 6. And then Spawn's like, then the files were correct. The documents procured by Spawn from Vito Gravano's office mention Overkill's midnight appointment. And this guy tells him, Spawn, you better hurry, man, because some black dude in a suit is right in his sights. He don't stand a chance, so whatever you're doing, please be careful, this is serious. Thanks for the warning, says Spawn. I've got a little help tucked away. Terry goes to the dumpster and meets up exactly where he was told to meet up at, 5th and 6th on 26th block or whatever. Overkill shows up and Terry just knows he's in deep trouble. Nice to see you again, hero. Terry, what the heck? So yeah, they think Terry is Spawn, and all Terry can do is, Wanda, C.I.A, I love you, because he knows he's about to meet his end. And he has to say that in a soft whisper because, you know, he can't get all aggressive. Like, all the fear, all the testosterone is just sucked out of him. So Spawn is frantically looking for his weapons, and it's those 2 steel-piercing AKT-20XI portable cannons that he threw away, that he disposed of in the area from their last bout with the Overkill. And that's back in issue number 7. So now that Spawn's frantically looking for all this, he He realizes that each passing moment is keeping Terry in a potentially fatal position. There's no time for delay. On any level, a gun gets pointed to his head. Don't move. Great work, Twitch, says Sam. Thank you, sir. And Spawn's like, guys, I really don't need this right now. I ain't got time for this. Time. Once again, it becomes an enemy to Spawn and to his friend. And that's how Spawn became trapped in the Alley of Death, because of a file that changed everything. What you guys think of the video? Comment below, let me know. And also link in the description if you wish to add this comic book and or some of our other Rated Comics exclusives to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Also, this review is sponsored by coffee, because I do these reviews early in the morning before I take my kids to school. So if you'd like to buy your boy a cup of coffee, link in the description or donate to the super thanks. But the greatest gift you guys can do is by liking this video and subscribing to Rated Comics YouTube channel. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.